Welcome to episode number 3 of the Chris Rose rotation here on John Boy Media. And look who's stepping into the 3-hole, none other than the Tampa Bay Rays ace, Tyler Glasnow. Yeah. Why, you don't like it? I call you the ace?
Oh, that's good. There you go. It's fine. I'm not a big, I don't know. No, we'll go with it. Fine. Ace. There, we got a lot of good pitchers. I don't want to do the rank thing.
Oh
but
my
you
gosh.
go what you got to do.
We're barely into spring training. You're already into team mode. It's okay. You can be look, everybody's going to look at you. They're going to be like, yeah, they traded Snell and Charlie Morton walked. And it's a bunch of guys who've had really good careers, but there's some injury issues and some bounce back issues. And so they look at you, this 6'8" Adonis, and they're like, yeah, you better be the ace. So I'm calling you the ace.
There you go. Fine. There we go. Let's go. I'll own up to it. Perfect.
All right. Speaking of, I noticed that in your first spring training start, you touched 100. So I want to know, and everybody out here wants to know before we really get going in this, when was the first time you threw 100?
Ooh, the first time that I know I threw 100, it could have happened before and I didn't know or whatever on a backfield, but I was in high A. I forgot where. I think I was in St. Lucie, maybe playing the Cardinals. And I remember just timed up really good. And it was the first inning, and I think it was like a 2-2 count, 2 outs. And I remember just being like, all right, I need to just throw 100. I don't care where this goes. I'm just going to throw it as hard as I can. And most of the time, like when you do that, you generally throw a lot slower than normal because you just tense up and like just get all out of whack. But I remember it timing up and I felt it. And right when it came out of my hand, I was like, that was pretty fiery. And I looked up and it said 100, and I'm a big radar gun checker. So I was like, oh, nice. Very cool. And then it was a pretty cool moment. I think that's like kind of a big deal for like a pitcher, especially when you're climbing up and like trying to hit all these velos and how important it is now in baseball. So I remember it actually very vividly. So yeah.
Did you smile a little bit? Like were there teammates?
I was probably just like, yeah, I'm the shit. Like I remember always like trying to stay in game mode, but like I was smiling internally, but externally I was like, yeah, okay, we got a couple more innings to go.
Like, have you ever gotten a catcher to shake his hand? Like, oh, I can't.
No.
That hurt.
That would make my day. That would be great. In Little League and stuff, you did when you had like terrible gloves, but like that was always like my basis of knowing if I was throwing hard too in Little League. If like my catcher would be like, oh no, like stop doing like, that'd be like, all right, I feel good today. Here we go. But as the levels went on and the gloves got better, I don't think many people get that feeling anymore, especially how good catchers' gloves are now.
Well, I quit baseball because of guys like you. Well, I also quit baseball because I sucked. But in 8th grade, I really remember. Because I hit 314 that year. Just want to let you know.
Ooh,
I remember, and that was with no speed, 0 infield hits for Rose.
Okay, so all right, so that's a real 3 whatever. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's a legit. Legit. Now it was also probably like a 314 on base because I was just swinging at everything. So forget drawing the walks. So I remember getting scared of the baseball. And I was like, guys started to throw hard, like 8th, heading into freshman year. I was like, oh man, the ball's coming a lot faster. And I remember, and I was like, it's really going to hurt so I started backing away from the plate. You probably ended the Little League careers of some kids.
Possibly. I hit a lot of guys when I was younger too, but I can relate to that. Like as a hitter early on, especially going from like coach pitch or like T-ball to like people throwing, everyone has like a year or two where they like, once the guy throws it, you just like jump back. Like you don't want to get hit. And I think it's like, should have just stuck with it. I had that for like 2 years too. And then I had to just figure it out. And I think it was probably my dad just being like, hey, stop, like enough's enough. Just get hit by the ball, whatever. Like, don't worry about it. But I mean, early Little League is definitely the most terrifying time. But like right when pitchers start to throw, it's the most terrifying. I can vividly remember that too, being like, I don't want to hit. This is awful.
What about in the big leagues when you step in there? Aren't you scared?
It's still the same. I think like you still like, you're like a human. So like you're just like, oh, okay. Like you kind of like you go through all the possibilities in your head of like what could possibly happen, and like getting hit is one of them. But I think then it's like guys have relatively good control, and like they're not really trying to go up and in on a pitch or anything. But I've been hit before. In 2017 against the Brewers, I got squared up in the back in like the 2nd inning, and I was like, I just had so much adrenaline that I didn't really feel it till the next day.
Who hit you?
Forgot. I don't even know. It's like righty, shortish, blonde guy. This is not going to help you, but that's all I remember. Shortish, blonde guy. That's all I remember.
So were you like, God damn, Jesus? Did you stare out at him? Were you like, come on, dude?
It was the same thing as, but it was like internally, it was like, wow, I was just like all sorts of emotions, but externally, I was just like, whatever, just like take my base. And then you kind of get over it. And I kind of have to get back to like the pitching mindset. But I remember just being like, oh, like seriously, I just got hit in a big league game. It was like the second, I don't even remember what it was, but it was like when I was relatively new, and the big league is already like intimidating, and I'm just getting drilled by heaters. And I'm like, oh my God, this whatever. But I ended up like, I think I took it like a champ, and I was like, all right, I went to first and then pitched like shit the rest of the game.
That's great. That's great. Well, we got a lot of good stuff coming up with Tyler Glasnow, one of the 6 members of the Chris Rose rotation. A quick reminder, hit the subscribe button wherever you download your podcast. Also join us on John Boy's brand new YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button there. It's been a ton of fun so far. We got some great stories. We're going to find out from Tyler why he's not, or may not, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but may not be the best athlete in your family. I can't wait to hear about this. There's some really good stuff. We're going to spin the wheel of moderately interesting things coming up a little bit later. So it's like a game show. You don't only get to be a co-host here, you get to play a game show. And then I also have a homework assignment at the end of the show. It's Mrs. Rose. My wife used to be an elementary school teacher, so she dishes out a homework assignment each show. You okay with that?
I'm perfect with it. It's fun. I haven't had homework in like 11 years.
How'd you do at Hard High? I imagine you were pretty smart.
I didn't apply myself, as I guess I would say. Like I was mostly like, I like would do my homework, but I was a big, like, I was the kid who got kicked out of class for talking too much. I was a big, like, I'd be in math class and you have to follow all the steps, and I'd follow the first 2. And then I'd like talk to this person and be on the 5th step. And I was like, I'm just going to cash it in. Like, I don't like, I'll look at the book later and like learn it myself. And then, but I was a big, like, you can't sit me in a class for an hour and have me like listen to a teacher. I was a big, like, I got to move around. I got to talk to people. And I don't think my teachers liked me very much. I think they liked me as a person, but as a student, it was probably like, if I had to teach myself, I'd have been pretty annoyed too.
So if we had to get one of your old teachers on this show to give a real report of Tyler Glasnow, the student, who do we ask?
That's a really good question. My favorite teacher, his name was Mr. Kirby. I don't even know if he would like, I think he would just be like, yeah, he's like an average student. I don't even know if he would like remember me, but
what did Mr. Kirby teach?
Physics. That was my.
Were you any good?
Was he good or was I good at physics?
Were you interested?
No. It was, I think that was the class I was most interested in for sure, but it was still like, that was my 7 o'clock in the morning class. I had like a first period.
Oh God.
And I'm now good at 7 a.m. So I would come in like relatively late, or it was my senior year too. And like, I had good enough grades. Like I was always like, I always made A's and B's and stuff, but I would always like wake up at like 6:40 and just be like, Mom, like, I just call in for me. And she would like call in, and I would sometimes skip my first period. So, which is, I'm kind of like, yeah, I hope my mom doesn't get mad at me for saying that, but it was like I had a decent amount of missed classes my senior year. Cause it was like, my grades were good. It was rough. It wasn't vacation mode, but I had like 4 classes my senior year, and 2 of them were like electives.
Mom's dope. Are you kidding me? That's
awesome. Was great. I think she was like, if you take care of your business and like I had a scholarship in baseball, and I was like working out, and I was like a responsible human being. She was like, all right, that's fine. I'll call in for you if like you were like up late doing whatever last night. So
where were you going to go if you hadn't been drafted?
University of Portland. I committed way too early. I threw like 83, 86, and I'm like, it was like a D1 school. And I was like, D1? Are you crazy? Oh, this is great. And I remember visiting the campus. No offense to University of Portland, but I remember visiting the campus being like, oh, I hate it. All right, I'll come here. This is great. Like, it was just the D1 thing. And then I like was like prepubescent at the time. And I like finally kind of went through a growth spurt. Like my senior year, I started throwing like 90s, and all these other coaches were like, why did you commit to, I like signed and everything. So I basically like was like, all right, I'm just going to go pro. And it was a good program. The coach I really liked. It wasn't all bad. I just think like it wouldn't have been the best like spot for me to go out of high school. So I'm glad I went pro for sure.
Well, I love it how you said, I got up there and I hated it, but it was D1.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, dude. Sweet. You're presumably going to spend the next several years of your life in a place you were going to hate.
Yeah. I mean, if I really wasn't getting looked at by too many teams at the time, it was like my junior year, and they were really like involved, and they were like supportive and really wanted me to go there. And it was a decent amount of scholarship. And I was like, all right, I'd rather just commit somewhere and just kind of have fun my senior year, like not try to like go and pitch for a scholarship. And it was dumb. I remember going at my senior year and just being like way stronger.
Got it. All right. We got a lot of ground to cover with you. Also, one other thing, did you bring with you your list of the 3 guests you want? Because we're going to do that later.
It's up here.
Oh God.
I don't have my list, but
well,
3 guests, I'm not going to remember that.
Well, according to Mr. Kirby, you might get through 1 and freeze.
Yeah.
You know,
you might be right. Miss Tong's another one you could talk to. She hated me. I think like as a person, like if we saw each other, we'd be good. But Miss Tong sent me out of class like once a week. I was a nuisance though. That was a big like couldn't pay attention math class. It was calculus, and it wasn't like it was hard. I was just like I don't want to sit here for an hour and listen to calculus. Like it was hard for me to like lock in.
You know what? This is gonna be therapy for you. We're gonna have one of your old teachers on every time we're on the show, and we're gonna really break this down, because I know you're a big Zen dude now. Like you meditate every day. You know, you're in touch with who you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Right. Were you a good student growing up, or were you? What were your grades like? I could assume you were a pretty good student.
Okay, so I went to a private boys' school on the east side of Cleveland. Very small. I graduated with 88 kids. I was not super. Oh my God. It was a grinder, dude. It was a grinder. So it's called University School. And I was barely top half in my class. But we're talking about a class of 88 that sent 3 kids to Harvard, 3 to Yale, 3 to Stanford. Yeah, like no joke. I was barely top half and got into the University of Michigan out of school. In part because I was president of the school. I was editor of the school newspaper. I managed 2 sports. I know this, you might find this hard to believe. I was not a good enough athlete to play. So I was the manager of the basketball team and the manager of the baseball team.
Nice.
So at least I was part of the team.
Did
you make fun of the man?
No, of course not. No. Our managers, I remember we didn't have any in baseball. We had it in football though in high school. And it was always like, just most of the managers were always girls. No, I'm not like, yeah. But like most of the time when the team managers were always like females for some reason. I think it didn't depend on the sport, but it wasn't like standard to have on like every sport. There wasn't really a manager. For some reason, our coach didn't like want one in baseball. I think he had it covered. So I don't know.
Our baseball coach, who was also our history teacher, Chuck Selbach, he pitched for 5 years in the big leagues. He pitched for Billy Martin in Detroit in the early 70s, and Billy Martin actually threw his arm out. Wow. So he had to go back. You know, back then they didn't have the modern medicine we have today. So he went back to his alma mater and ended up being a teacher. And he was also our baseball coach. And he was not a hard ass at all. He was just
cool.
Oh, okay. He was a real thinker and a good dude. And Chuck Selbach, shout out Chuck if you're listening.
I think a lot of like big leaguers who go back and coach don't end up being like the hard ass ones, because I think they understand how hard the game is. And it's just like, dude, me yelling at you is not going to help you. Like, as me as a player, like I'm not the type of player who likes when like certain people get motivated, like when you're lifting, people like get in your face and scream at you. I would like rack it and be like, don't do that. Like I don't like that like scream type. I just want like a good friend who can like think with you and just knows what he's talking about. But like I do think to each his own. But like I would say most of the people I know that go back and coach don't have that chip on their shoulder, and they're like, I'm just here to develop people into being good baseball players, as opposed to like show you how much of a hard ass I am. So
all right, I want to rile you up a little bit.
All right.
I was 15 when I suffered at the time the worst sports loss of my fandom, okay? 1986 AFC Championship, Browns lost a home game against the Broncos. John Elway drove 98 yards. You probably heard of it, blah, blah, blah. I was at the game. Every year after that, we didn't have YouTube back in the day, I would put in the VHS tape and watch the game over to motivate me right before the season. And hell, I didn't even play. Just as a fan, I was like, I want to see how, I want to know how much this hurts every year, because when we finally win that damn Super Bowl, it's going to feel so good. Not that we ever have or have even made it.
Never say never.
Have you watched either of your starts from the World Series?
No. I've seen like little like snippets and highlights and whatnot, just like in passing, but like I don't like to sit and watch it like in its entirety. I haven't done it, especially too. They haven't been like very quality. So like for me, a lot of times, like I've learned as I get older, like what helps me move on, I guess, is like the good ones. Sometimes I can go back and like reassure, like know what I did good. And like, it's always something I can go back and check on, but like bad starts or I don't really like, you take what you can to learn from them, but like I can process it without video. Like I know why I failed. I know, you know what I mean? Like you can get those things from it. For me, like just video is just like reliving a thing I feel like I don't need to like look over, because video for me, especially on field stuff, doesn't really do much for me. So it was more of like a move on. It was more of just like this sucks. This is a terrible feeling, but like figure out what I did wrong, put it like, write it down, do whatever I need to do, and then just move on. And I've kind of just like gotten out of my mind. It's a nice motivating factor, but for me, it's not something I like hang on to.
But did you have to talk to people? Because listen, that's the pinnacle. Everybody's watching and you didn't do as well as you wanted to? Was there somebody you had to sit down with? Was it a sibling? Was it a friend? Was it a parent? And you were like, it really bothers me that I didn't do as well as I wanted to.
Yeah, those feelings were definitely there. Like the first, I'd say like about a week. It definitely like simmered away in the off season, but like it sucks. But for me, I think like I've been like conditioned for like the failure in a weird way. Like in Pittsburgh, that was my lowest of lows. Like I experienced like like the worst I think I'll ever feel on a baseball field. Like the anxiety and everything of like how poorly I pitched in Pittsburgh really like built a foundation for like mental toughness for me. So like when I did fail the first time in 2019, whatever, like in the big leagues and like got hit around game 5, it was hard, but it was like easier for me to be like, all right, move on. Cause like, I think I compared it to when I feel like I was at like my rock bottom and I'm like, oh, it's not even near as bad. And I think if anything, I was like relatively lucky to go through that situation because even when I was with Pittsburgh, my biggest fear was going to the big leagues and just like doing bad, not just doing bad, but like kind of like snowballing into this like anxious, weird thing. And that happened. Like my biggest fear actually came true. And I remember walking away from it being like, oh, like it sucks, but like, it's not that bad. I'm still here. Like I have my family, I have my friends. And I think that's kind of how I experienced it in the World Series too, of like, this really sucks and everything. But like, I didn't try to do bad. Like you know what I mean? Like I went out, I gave it everything I did. I worked too hard to like, let it fester in my brain to where like, I think it gives me a better like mental foundation to like, I experienced my biggest fears, losing in the World Series or like not helping my team win. So I got to feel that. And like, yeah, I even came away from it being like, oh, it's really not that bad. So I think it like, if anything, it's really helped me understand that like, it's not the end of the world. It's a huge, it's a big deal to pitch in the World Series, but it's not like the most meaningful thing in my life. Absolutely not. Like I have other things that I prioritize, but it's definitely like, I'm obsessed with baseball. Any big leaguer is.
Well, it's interesting because fans might listen to that and they might say, all right, well, I get it. You know, Glasnow, like he's trying to find some balance, but it means a lot to me. Why doesn't it mean more to him?
I think that's probably why they're not big leaguers because I'm not like, I think it's great to care. I think, but like for me, I want to go out and perform, and me dwelling on something and like being sad about something doesn't help the outcome. Like however I interpret the situation doesn't make it easier. Like you know what I mean? Of course it sucks. And like, I work extremely hard to make sure I don't repeat my mistakes. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out like what it is you need to work on and then just turn the page. Cause like sitting there and dwelling and ruminating over it, like anyone who's ever experienced any type of like anxiety or like stress or anything can understand, like you need to just flip the page. Like you can't dwell on it.
Okay. With that being said, you guys, as the Rays always do, even though you were at the top of the American League, massive changes again, particularly to the starting rotation, right? Snell gets traded. Charlie Morton moves on to Atlanta. And, you know, everybody looks at the Rays and I looked at the stat. You guys have thrown the fewest innings of any starting rotation combined the last 5 years. And obviously that's an organizational decision. Are you at the point where you can go into Kevin Cash's office and be like, listen, I want to be able to be that guy that gives you 8 innings? Because it doesn't, as a fan, it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, I think like I have two sides of this. Like I can understand, like I really have kind of an like analytical brain. Like I can understand the number side of it. And like if you present me the data and show me like what works and what doesn't, like I'll look at it and I'll give you like an honest opinion. Like I'm not going to be like a bias on either side. But there's been a lot of times in season where I've like been taken out too early. Like I feel like I've been taken out too early, and like I get angry. Like Cash knows that too, and like he's not doing it because he personally like it's. I just think it's like the formula that they've used, and to their defense, like it's worked. Like we win a lot of games every year, and sometimes I don't agree with it personally. Like if I'm really rolling, there's certain times you need to understand the emotional aspect of a game. When someone's on, they're on, and you got to let them ride. But like I appreciate that they're willing to like. They treat it more of like a poker game, I guess, which that might turn some people off. But I do think like there's some importance and some value in like sticking with a game plan as far as data goes. Like whether I agree with like throwing a lot of innings or not, like I don't think he'd gone past the 6th inning for like 2 years. I think in that situation, you have to leave him in. Like that's when like the analytics you can overthink it. But I mean, I think a lot of guys in that dugout were like, we saw it coming. Like we knew because we've seen it for 2 years. And I think if there's any silver lining that can come out of that situation, it's like maybe the Rays or Cash will reevaluate in the future of like when a guy is on, like don't just go full bore into the data, like really understand it from like an emotional aspect. So, and Cash does that. I just think he's,
Well, yeah, because listen, 99% of America, if not all 100%, didn't understand the move. And we're talking about what happened with Blake Snell. I love what you guys do. And I have been on your formula for years. I think it's brilliant. I think the one area that we miss out is we don't know the day that Blake Snell is going to pitch the best game of his life. We don't know the day. The baseball gods do not call down to the dugout and say, hey, this is Tyler Glasnow's day. This is the day he's going to be unhittable. And to me, that's the feeling I got. Not like I understood it. Mm-hmm. I understand the idea and the process behind it. It doesn't sometimes allow for that special moment. And that's what hurt me as a baseball fan, because I didn't care who won.
Yeah, I think it depends. Like, I don't know. Each team has their own formula for winning, but I think that's like certain. I mean, and fans, of course, want like the special magical moments of it. But like, if you were to put yourself in an owner's shoes or like a GM shoes, like the magical moments are extremely important. But like, your number one goal is to win. Like your number one goal, and like I think they thought they put themselves.
But that could have helped you win, don't you?
Like, I mean, exactly. Like I don't.
That magical moment could have been it.
100%, but I think too, like the way the game has shifted, I like the people that run baseball in a sense, like the front office people don't think emotionally. Like they're very much like nerd is not the right word. Like it's all has to be on paper. You have to prove it. Everything has to be in order, and the numbers have to, which sucks, right? But like I can see both sides of it. I think with anything, you can't lean too left, too right. Like it has to be somewhere in the middle. And I think, like I said, the silver lining will be hopefully they can reevaluate down the line when like this situation happens again. They can be like, okay, we can look at it for what it is and understand, like maybe don't take them out, but also I don't think you should throw out all the analytical stuff or anything like that.
I'm with you.
It's
Okay. I don't know if you, I know you have social media, but I don't know if you saw a few weeks ago what Wendy's did. They threw out this great tweet where it's time for everybody's favorite made up social media holiday. It's National Roast Day, like right now. So drop a roast me below and feel the burn. And so your organization got in on the fun and said, go ahead, Wendy, absolutely roast us. Keep it spicy like your nugs. And so Wendy's replied, we're surprised you didn't pull your social media manager in the middle of writing that great tweet.
Yeah, I saw it a few times. I had it sent to me a few times too. That was, I mean, good for Wendy's. That's a nice little, that's a jab for sure. But yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. I think too, I can see both sides of it to where like Cash did mention like even that, like just in like passing like a joke about like fucking Wendy's is tweeting at me and stuff, like, which is hard too. And he's not a guy like Cash is a guy he's hard not to root for. Like he's a great human, really good coach. I think I haven't talked to him in depth about it, but I'm assuming he would probably go back and change what he did. Like, I think he's just a human. Like he made a mistake in that way. But I think too, if he takes him out and someone comes in and like we end that inning cleanly, I think the narrative is a bit different, but I still think at the end of the day, like strip away all that stuff. It's still like Blake was on one. Like everyone in the stadium knew it.
All right, let's move on to this team. You're in camp now with the guy you were traded for, Chris Archer. Have we had any talk about it at all?
Yeah, we talked like not specific, like in depth about the trade. I think like people that are outside of it like make it more important than it really. Like players, I have no control over how I get traded or who I get traded for, and I think he's got the same mentality. It's like there's not much to talk about. There's not like we talk about everything other than that kind of like it's just like like we all know we got traded. Like there's not really what else. Where do you go from there? Like we've talked about the differences in organizations and like. It's been cool to know that he's been there and then here and like what the differences and stuff are. But we talk more like pitching philosophy and like just normal stuff. And he's one of those players too that isn't just like consumed with baseball. He has like a personality outside of baseball.
Totally.
So like we can talk about a million things. So
yeah, but isn't it? Did you once you got traded? It was you and Meadows, and I think another piece for Archer.
Boz.
Did you? Oh right, okay, right.
Yeah.
Did you
he's
guys?
There too. He's disgusting.
I know. I heard he's throwing nasty. So did you keep an eye on what Chris Archer was doing? I mean, isn't that natural?
I like not like specifically. I think if I saw it on like you watch MLB Network or whatever, and like you can like see all the highlights and like you know what people are doing. It was my old organization.
Haven't heard of that network, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. So just in passing, like I have a lot of like mutual friends with him too. Like Cole Tucker's really good friends with him. And like, obviously people being there. And I always knew he was like a a good dude. So to be completely honest, like I would watch and I wanted him to do well. I wanted him to go there and like shove. I don't want anyone to feel like, I doubt Archer took it to heart. It's not like he had the injury stuff, but like I wanted it to be like everyone got traded and everyone did well. So everyone would shut up about it. Like it's not like, that's the number one question people ask me, which I don't mind. Like it's an interesting topic, but like it would just, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just whatever.
It's a dumb, you could say Rose,
no, it was a good question. It's fun. Got to give the people what they want. I was actually going to ask you before too.
What?
Hold on. All right, finish it. Sorry. I was going to ask you a question before on that, but to mix it in, what is the hardest part of your job? Like I described about like for me in 17, like the mental aspect of it was really, really like, that's where I grew the most, experiencing like failure and whatnot. Like for you, because I don't know your world, like what is the hardest thing for you to go to work with it? Like what is your greatest stress, if you want to even talk about it on here?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. The greatest stress, this is not stressful. I've never, even, for 3 years, I worked on Fox Saturday Baseball, and I was the guy that did the trophy ceremony after the 2009, 10, and 11 World Series. I was the guy that was interviewing, the commissioner, and then the owner, and then the manager, and then all the players. So that was my role, and that was the most pressure-packed role I've ever had. Like, I don't ever remember being nervous about any of that stuff, because you guys don't get nervous really either. It's kind of what you do and who you are. Mm-hmm. I do remember the first time I handed out the American League Championship trophy, I think actually it was the World Series in 2009. It was at brand new Yankee Stadium. I remember looking up, and I had this moment because my mom had died a year and a half earlier, and she was everything to me. A huge, huge sports fan, and just so supportive. And I was like, that's what it made me sad that my mom couldn't be there to see it.
Yeah.
That's what I thought about before everything. I cleared my mind for a second. I knew what I had to do, but I thought about her for 30 seconds. And I remember tearing up, kind of, they bring that huge stage out.
Yeah.
And I think that's I'm a very emotional guy. Mm-hmm. And you saw it on the last few days of Intentional Talk. I was crying my eyes through that stuff because I didn't want to leave. The hardest part for me is separating what's going on with my family from doing these shows. Once I'm doing shows, it's great. I dig. I always consider myself a producer that happens to do podcasts or TV or whatever it is I'm doing. But for me, it is hard to separate. Like when my kids are hurting, that's a hard thing for me. You'll experience that one day. It's weird, but that's the biggest challenge. Everything else I live for. I love doing research. I love finding stories on you guys and stuff like that. Yeah. It's the rest of it that makes it hard. I got a 20-year-old who's kind of struggling, and I want to be there for him, every day. And that's hard.
Where is he going to school again?
Well, that's the point. He's not. He's in between. Yeah. He doesn't mind me sharing that. It's not, he's going to listen to this, but and it's okay. I tell him this all the time. His mom and I tell him all the time. There are so many kids in your situation, particularly now in the pandemic.
Yeah, and he's 20. It's not. He's 20, he's not 45. He's
yeah. I mean, he's kind of like you. He's tall. He's thin. He's got great hair, but he doesn't throw 100. Sure. So, well, he does, but it's 2 pitches at 50 miles an hour each. So if you add them up, then it's 100.
Yeah, there you go.
That's kind of the fun part.
I have a family friend in the same situation. It's funny. I actually know a lot of people who are from 18 to 22 right now. And it seems like
Strugglesville, man.
It's different. It's just a whole different progression now. I don't want to be a guy when I was younger, but it is much, much different. It just seems like it's harder to I don't know. You just establish yourself so young. And I didn't know what I wanted. I did know what I wanted to do when I was 18, but I knew nothing else. Or 20 years old, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to go to school for. So it's tough.
Yeah. So listen, he'll be great because he's such a good people person and he's got such a good heart. So I know that those are the really good things. But if anybody out there listening wants to give a 20-year-old a shot at anything, just tweet me or what have you. So there you go.
Hope you're enjoying the Chris Rose rotation. Don't mind us. We have to tell you about some crazy deal that DraftKings is offering. Jake, would you consider Duke an underdog this year?
Yeah.
So if you bet
they stunk.
Yeah. If you bet $4 on Duke and they win. No, wait, it's not even if they win. What is it?
Jim, it's not that. Bet $4 on an underdog in select college basketball games, and if they win, you collect $256.
I feel attacked by the math there.
Yeah, that's
betting
messed
4
up.
to win 256.
That's messed up.
I don't know that when it was 1 to win 100, I could do those odds. But anyway, DraftKings
The
is
bank
always
is
doing
open.
stuff. So use code
That's a
ROSE.
It's a double entendre. The bank is open. Like a bank shot.
Bank
and
shot,
like,
bank. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code ROSE when you sign up to turn $4 into $254 if the underdog of your choosing pulls off the upset. That's code ROSE to turn $4 into $256. Did I say that last time? For a limited time.
yeah.
For a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You must be 21 or older. New Jersey, Indiana, Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Back to the show.
One thing we're going to do this year that I think is really fun is people love lists. And so I asked you to do a little work. You know, I always know it's so hard to face Mike Trout. Like, I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who'd want to do that? Or Freddie Freeman. Give me 3 under-the-radar hitters, in your opinion, that are super tough, challenging for you to face, and why?
There's a kid in our organization named Ryan Sullivan who's a catcher who's like one of the better bat-to-ball people I've ever seen. And I've faced him a few times, and he always does well against me. Jay Bruce has always done well. I feel like every time I faced him, I'm always like, you're good. Who else?
But what is it about? Is it something that Jay Bruce does, or is it that it's just kind of, it could just be dumb luck?
I think it's just like, I feel like it's just, I don't know. It's just like, you almost feel like certain guys you face, like, know what you're going to throw. And like, they're just on time on everything. It's like you almost sequence and you're like, oh, there's no way he's going to think this is coming. And then like, you're just so on time. So it's just, I think it depends too, to like when you find a hitter who's like on time and like just feeling himself in that moment, like that hitter might always win no matter how you're feeling, I guess. And like as a pitcher, when you're on, like it doesn't matter who you're facing, but like it's a time in between. So a lot of times too, it's like fine, like depends on when you face someone, when their timing's good and they're like in their zone and they're doing well, or a time when they're like not doing very well and they're like kind of out of whack. But yeah, I'd say those two. And then oh, my computer's bugging out. Who else? Adam Frazier's always been good, and Meadows, but that's a boring answer. But like Adam Frazier's always been like a good, like he's just a baseball player. Like he's not, a lot of guys, I think when I face them will sell out and like swing as hard as they can. But like the guys that will really like just want to bat to ball it and like try and sell out and like really play like old school baseball, rather, like those are the dudes that I think do pretty well against me.
So are you a guy that like when you read a scouting report or something, do you know like who's got great numbers against you and who you own?
For me, like I know where hitters' weaknesses are and whatnot, but like I'm always going to pitch to my strengths. Like I think it's a more like a confidence thing of like I know that if I'm on, like my best stuff will get your best stuff out. And so I think it's like more of the aggressive mentality of doing that. And then when the days that I don't necessarily have it or I don't feel good, then I can kind of like work off of the scouting report. But I think all in all, like I'm going to be a guy who pitches to my strengths more so than like trying to outsmart the scouting report or something like that. But like if guys have glaring holes on certain types of pitches, I'll like, you want to expose them on that. Like a free pass is a free pass, not a free pass, but like you make it easier on yourself. But for the most part, like I'm just trying to like pound the zone and do what I do to most every hitter.
So do you talk to yourself on the mound?
Internally, like I'm not just like, come on, Tyler, but like I'll definitely have like an internal dialogue. Definitely. I think everyone does. If someone says no, like they're either like lying or just they don't know. Like everyone has that person in their brain. Everyone has like that like, ooh, what if you do this? What if you do that? Like you have like that thing that's spitting out all these options, and it's like what you choose to listen to. That's why I like baseball so much. It's like you get put into such a high stress situation to like that little voice is so much louder. And it's like every single time you pitch, it's like a rep to like master that little voice. You just like learn how to work with yourself in high stress situations. So I mean, yeah, that's probably, I mean, I'd say I'd talk to myself for sure out there.
Are you a snapper?
Sorry, my computer's bugging out. Say it again.
Are you a snapper?
What does that mean?
How long have you played baseball?
A snapper?
Do you snap?
Oh, like no, dude. This headphone sucks. I gotta get a new one. I am not a snapper. Like with my hands, people do that.
No, not this. Like guys, it's usually more position players. Like they have a crappy at bat, and Paul O'Neill used to kick the Gatorade cooler.
Or, snapper, like snap. Yeah.
Snap.
Yeah, I'm a snapper. I will break some shit for sure. Like
really?
I definitely like, and it was something like earlier in my career there, everyone was like, you need to like figure like don't. It was like trying to suppress that to like you just got to be like locked in and blah blah blah. But like for me, if I have a bad inning and I go in and like just give it like one like huge, just loud, explicit something, it's gone. Like I'll go in, I'll do what I need to do, I'll get my frustration out, and then I'm good to go. I don't even think about it. It's completely cleared out of my head. As before, I would try to like, no, I don't want to do this. I have to be like Zen-like and like don't get all angry, but like I would just hold on to it and try to like, my day became more about like trying to control my emotions as opposed to like trying to go out and compete. And I know so many good big leaguers that like snap. I just think it depends on your personality, where I was like, okay, I've seen these guys do it. It's like you can clearly have success and still do it. So now I just embrace it. Like it definitely, you don't want it to get to the point where you're just so angry you can't pitch. But like for me, it's definitely easier to just like pop off and then bam, I'm good and I can go focus on baseball again.
Like, did you ever break shit?
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've broken some stuff in dugouts and stuff like that for sure. Yeah. Like toilets
what?
and like towel dispensers and like whatever's kind of in my way, to be honest. Not in my way, but like in my clear sight. It's just like definitely. It doesn't happen very often, but when it like it's not something that like you do consistently. It's just those very rare times in a season where you're like something happens and you're just pissed off and you just kind of have to like let it out.
Well, it's funny because in the mid 80s, there was a left-handed pitcher for the Cardinals, primarily named John Tudor. Good. Apparently he had the ass all the time. And I think if my memory serves me right, he punched a fan with a left hand and was out. I forget if it was for a playoff game or some substantial pennant run or what have you. So this is your right hand. This is your moneymaker. Keep this out of the equation. If you ever have to punch stuff or throw shit or whatever, just take a deep breath.
With the right hand. Yeah, exactly. I'm not throwing anything with my right hand. No way. No, I need to have like enough wherewithal to like, especially too, if it was like any sort of on field something, that's always the first thing I think about. Like, like right hand behind your back. And like, it's something too, you don't think about in the moment, but like I have friends who have like used their right hand and like just had like something like still to this day bother them, like hitting something. I would definitely be like more of a left-handed like punch thrower for sure.
Okay. God, I love this about you, man. You're a snapper and that you used to get kicked out of classes in high school. This is I got kicked out of class in high school for being like happy and talkative. It wasn't like me being a dick. It was me being just like ADD brain. That was more of it, but yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on. One of the other members of the Chris Rose rotation is your old teammate in Pittsburgh, Stephen Brault. And so we said, okay, you got to give us a good Glasnow story. And he kind of went through the old mental Rolodex. He's like, yeah, I can't share that one. And then he focused on you being this Adonis. So let's listen to Stephen Brault from the Chris Rose rotation.
I have seen Tyler Glasnow do a lot of things. He can 360 windmill dunk. He's the fastest person I've ever seen. He could be an Olympic sprinter. I'm convinced. He could be an Olympic distance runner. I'm convinced. He's just an athletic freak in general. Okay. But for some reason, when he was in the big leagues rotation in 2017, he was just not good. And, I don't know what happened. It was something mental because he was only throwing like 92 miles an hour for like multiple starts. Turns out something was wrong mentally because they sent him down to AAA, and I was in AAA when he got there. And Tyler Glasnow's first game back in AAA, we were in Norfolk against the Orioles AAA team. He went 6 innings, no hits, 15 strikeouts, and he was sitting 100 miles an hour the whole game. And it was like, what is going on here? Like, what happened? But I'll never forget that first game back down in Norfolk, where it was just like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever watched in my entire life. It was crazy.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I remember that game. I remember that time too. That was a
lot to unpack here.
Oh yeah,
a lot to unpack here. Let's start with what was wrong with you in Pittsburgh?
For me, I've always looked back at it as being like, that was the only time I'd ever been like faced with failure. Like it was very much like, so many times I would always hear people being like, at some point you're going to have to fail and like fail hard and learn from it. And then I was always like, yeah, that sounds like a Mighty Ducks line. Like, sure. Like whatever you say, like it sounds like bullshit to me. And like, it was just, I got called up when I was like 22 and I was not ready just because I had no idea like what it was like to fail. And I got called up and I remember being out there and like, I was just so like, you work your entire life and like you're so obsessive about what you do and like to like do everything you do to get to that moment. And it was just like that feeling of fear being like, what if I don't do good? And that was kind of what overtook my brain. And I think once I stopped, like my first one was bad. And then my second one, my third, it kind of just snowballed. And then finally, what people are always telling me what I needed to learn, I was exposed to it on like a national scale, as opposed to doing it in low A or high A or double A or something, to where I was like under the radar, learning how to get through all this adversity. And I think it just snowballed and compounded, which I'm extremely grateful for now, because I feel like it was full blown, like that was the worst situation I could have been in, but I came out the other side like way, way stronger. If I were to fail on like a stage where no one was watching, like I do think I would have learned my lesson, but like in the way in which I learned it is very meaningful to me today. I think I compare most of my stresses to like how I felt in 16 and 17, to where like I feel like I can kind of get through anything. And stress is relative. Like I understand, like when you look at it on like the bigger picture, like failing in the big leagues is still a pretty big, like it's a champagne problem. Like I'm in the big leagues failing, at least they're still paying me. Like you know what I mean? But when your whole life is all about baseball and you go up there and you don't seize the moment, you literally do the complete opposite. Like it took its toll on me for sure. Like it changed me for the better 100%. But it was just this weird mental block. Like I just got like, I was so stiff. I had like no fun. I had no feel. And finally, I just think hitting rock bottom enough, like you get put in that same situation over and over again. Your brain's finally like, okay, what can we do differently now to where you don't feel like this? And it just kind of happened to where like, you just get a little confidence, you do well once, do well twice. And then I got traded to the Rays, and like that whole mentality shift of like, throw it down the middle. And the people I was around in Pittsburgh were great too, but in Tampa, it was so much more relaxed. Like it was very much go play baseball. And I like fell back in love with baseball, and I started to like, and like through this whole process, my work ethic never like varied. It was very much like, that is my mental, that's what grounds me for sure. Like physical activity is what like keeps the demons out, as they say, I guess, like kind of like keeps my stress in check. And so that was never a question, but it was just more of like the in rep and like trying to figure out the mental game. And then like, it all just kind of came together, and I'm still a student of it. I'm still learning it, but like my mindset now compared to 3 years ago is like, I can't even like recognize that person. So
that's great. That's good, honest stuff there, man. But I want to get back to the first part of what Brault said. Mm-hmm. Can you do all that stuff? Can you 360 dunk?
Yeah. I'm 6'8". I mean, it's not like I can jump relatively good too. So it's like, yeah.
Well, you mean, you still got to, 6'8", if you were 6'8" and you were like, yeah, I can dunk, I'd be like, yeah, I would hope so. But to be 6'8" and 360, now we're talking about some athleticism.
Yeah. I have a really athletic family, and I played basketball and stuff growing up, and I did high jump was my number one sport. Like if I didn't play baseball, I would be doing high jump and wherever, or like really? My brother did decathlon at Notre Dame. I probably would have done decathlon. So like I learned how to like have like running ups, I guess. Like I'm a 1 foot dunker because I just did high jump my entire life. So I think there was like practice involved with it, but I just think like for me, jumping and like running and stuff has always been like a big part of my life. And it's just been something that I was like good at from a young age. So I just,
someone tell me you're not one of those guys that gets the runner's high and shit like that, are you?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm a full blown. Yeah. That's like, yeah. I'm a full blown like workout addict for sure. Like, and there's worse things to be addicted to. So like, yes. It's 100% like my staple every day. I have to get like some sort of runner's high every single day. Like I don't like, I'll go on the elliptical. It's mostly I get through like mobility, and like, I don't want to lift too much in season, but like I have to, like, that's the feeling I'm trying to get. That's like how I start my day off. I have to get that. And it puts me in a, like, my spirits are better. Like I'm more compassionate. Like it just makes me a better human being. So I'm like, why don't I just do it every day? And I've been on that routine for years. So it's hard not to.
That's awesome. It's so good for you. I love it. I've tried to impress it upon our kids. My wife is a workout freak. I've dropped 30 pounds in the last year, but that's because my doctor is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I remember when I was 49, he's like, listen, dude, you are about to hit 50. You are 40 pounds overweight. If you don't lose weight, we're going to be talking about some bad stuff going on. Yeah. So that's what really kind of got me going, and just eating better and stuff like that. But my oldest brother, Bob, used to be a marathoner. He clocked in the New York City Marathon at 2:59 one year. Like that's no joke. That's like
crazy.
Yeah, that's like less than 50 minutes behind the winner, which isn't bad.
Nuts.
Were you a marathoner? Can you run?
No, I'm a big, like, I need to find like low impact stuff. Like I want to play for a long time. And I still run, but like I'm like 6'8" and weigh like 235 to where like that, the pounding on my knees and whatnot. Like I try to find like more like low impact stuff to get like to achieve that same feeling, to like loosen me up. But there'll be times in the off season, like especially like straight out of the off season, where I don't need to like worry about it. I'll run a good amount, but I'm more of like a sprint type person, or like if I need to do something like a long bike or like a long elliptical or something. I wanted to ask you this. I don't know if vice is the good word. Like I would say my vice is working out. Like that's what is your go-to like to get you back on your.
Let's stop right here. That's your vice. It's not a vice. Your vice is not working out.
You know what I mean?
Vice
like
would
not
be
my
like,
vice.
I drink 6 bottles of bourbon a week. Like that's a vice.
Sure.
Okay?
What is
what gambled away half my earnings. What brings me back? It's one of the things I've struggled with, Tyler. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have enough in my life for me. It sounds bizarre. Like I've always been like, I need to take care of my family. I need to make sure my wife's got everything she needs. I need to work more so we can have a better place to live. I need to make more so that my kids can have good schools to go to and have everything they need. Like I haven't had enough me time. Like it's boring, but like I just dig sports. I love watching you guys compete. I could sit and not move. If my wife yells at me all the time, she's like, "We got to get out of the house, loser," or I'm out. Because that's cool. I could, before sports were on 24/7, when I was young, they just weren't. We didn't have those capabilities, but that's all I did. I would wake up on a college football Saturday, and from noon until all the way through midnight on the East Coast, I would just watch games. I wouldn't do anything else.
Really?
Friends would be like, "Yo, we're rolling out tonight." I'm like, you kidding me? BYU and Utah are on later. They're like, what?
Yeah, that's it.
Like, yeah. So then when I became a sportscaster, they were like, yeah, of course you did.
Yeah.
Because you loser, you couldn't do anything else. You would never want to go party with us or hang out with us and stuff like that.
That's sick though. You got to do like your passion and now is your job. And like we are in a weird little boat like that. Like I've only liked baseball my whole life. Like and now I get to play it. That is cool.
It's great. Are you kidding me? My dad used to tell me, and my dad's been gone 9 years now, but he used to say it all the time, especially when I was on the Best Damn Sports Show period, because we would have. Did you ever watch that as a kid?
Yeah. I mean, like I know of the show. I can't like remember going back in time and like, wow, there's Chris Rose. Like I don't really like, but I'm 27.
Oh my God, this is disgusting. It is. How old are your parents?
My like older actually. My mom is 66. My dad's 62, 63, 62.
Oh yeah, they're old. Those are some old parents there.
That's great. They're like the youngest people I know too. It's awesome. My mom still has a 6-pack and she's 66. She's a physical specimen. My dad, big workout guy too. Like they are very much like I'm grateful to have like old, like wiser, not old, but like older for like parents, but they're also like
young.
They do a bunch of stuff. I've so many like outdoor activities and vacations, and like they're still very young at heart.
So is it just you and your brother?
Me and my brother, yeah.
And what's his name?
Ted.
Okay. Now Ted, you mentioned he was a decathlete at Notre Dame. That's no joke, man. That's like Dan and Dave type shit. Spin up that ad from back in the Olympic days of like 30
I remember
years
that
ago.
Actually.
Okay. So how good at it? Like what was his best event?
We did high jump a lot growing up. He was really good at throws. He's like really, really strong. I gotta like find a picture of him working out. He's like the most shredded human being when he was in college. It was incredible. But he I'd say his throws were really good. Discus was good. Javelin was good. High jump was good. I think he was so big, like the running events weren't his strong suit, but he was always good at everything. I think hurdles was probably the hardest event. But yeah, weirdly enough, he had Tommy John, and I have not had Tommy John. Let's go ahead and knock on some wood here. But the first time he ever went to college, they don't teach you how to throw javelin in high school. So he went in his first like decathlon, and they were like, just throw it. And he went and just threw it completely wrong and busted his Tommy John. It was just terrible. So he had to like figure all that out.
Not laughing at it.
Yeah, I am.
That's
fine.
So I mean, what's the age gap between you two?
He's 30 now. So 27 and 30, like 2.5 years.
Okay. So I imagine the competition between two primo athletes was fierce.
It was weirdly enough, like it was very much like all love growing up. Like younger, like we would 100%. I can vividly remember us getting like wanting to throw blows at each other. But like as we got older, which I'm grateful for now, like we got to the level of like we would like younger, we'd compete against each other and like be at each other's necks. And then we got to a certain age where we would like kind of support one another. And like the competition turned into like, how can I help you? How can you help me in a weird way? And like, we never got like too crazy with it, but there's still so much competition. Like if we're doing something and like I beat him, he's still going to get mad. And like, if he beats me, like it depends on what it is. But like, we're both two competitive people, but I think the majority of it is just like, it's all love. Like we both just want to see each other like do well. So if I do really well and he does bad, I don't want him to do bad. I want him to do better than I do. So depending on what it is, but yeah.
There was a great story on some local yokel during the World Series. He actually came to Arlington last year to watch you pitch. Mm-hmm. You pitched game 1 and Mookie Betts not only got on base in the first, but he also stole a base, which meant that everybody got Taco Bell and for the nationwide promotion. And so he took a nice little jab at you. I want you to give a listen to this interview that he gave.
I'm the older brother and, of course, the exceptional athlete. And every time I would beat him in something, he would go off in a corner and pout. And when you asked him, hey, man, what's wrong? He would go, I just want Taco Bell. So I think it's poetic justice that he ended up giving Taco Bell to the entire country.
Hell yeah, it is. It's the best story ever. No, yeah, I do. There's like home videos of me too, just like all mad in the car and like, what's wrong? I'm just Taco Bell. I'm just a fat kid at heart. So that was my vice as a kid. Taco Bell, the shitty beef tacos.
I would do a chili cheese burrito.
Ooh,
and
nice.
That's
I'll still get down on Taco Bell. Oh yeah, if I'm like with my friends or like not, it's like a one in a blue moon. Especially like in season, I eat like really healthy, but I'm a heating. Like, of course, if I go out and like have a fun night with friends, like I'm not gonna not eat Taco Bell at 3 a.m. Like you have to do what you gotta do sometimes.
Absolutely, go nail that. So, by the way, a few things. I love that he told that story and is killing you for instead of being like, "Hey, man, it's okay." He's killing you.
If he did that, I would. Base. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I need him to still be real. Like I would never want him to be like, "Hey, it's okay." Like that's not how we communicate. Like we're very much like hard on each other. Our whole family is like we all just talk shit to each other. So like, yeah, it's fitting. And it always too like that wasn't like a great thing that happened. Like obviously like that was a failure in a sense of letting like all these stolen bases, but like if you were to be like I would just be like ew, but like making a joke out of it is like the greatest thing you can possibly do, and we just kind of have that same like dialogue, so it was funny. I remember seeing that interview and laughing my ass off after.
It's really good. By the way, Robbie, I want to bring up that video. I just want to see the picture of Ted. Did you guys get a 2-for-1 Groupon at the haircut salon or something? I mean, what's going on with the hair?
We've always gone back and forth. Like I've had long hair even as like a little kid. When I was like a little skater in California, like I was in middle school and elementary school, I always had long hair. And then like we've always just gone back and forth. And I remember growing my hair out and I was like, we should be long hair twins. And he's like, all right, whatever. Like I don't even think there's a real plan. I just think we both like go long hair, short hair, long hair, short hair. We just can't decide.
My wife, every time you pitch, she's like, his hair is sensational. Like it. Well, I mean, you know it too. You can't grow out those locks and be like, I'm definitely. I think it's like I'm not. It's nice. It's cool. I think it's I don't know. My dad has good hair. He's always been he's got some good. He used to rock a ponytail back in the day, and when I was a kid, he would basically just use me as like a prop, and he would just make me have like weird ass haircuts, and he would like put them in ponytails and like. So he had some good hair. So I think we just kind of I don't know. I would say I have nice hair. I like it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people wondering like how much goes into it, how much do you, because Brault told us the other day, there's guys that actually spend time on their hair when they're about to play a baseball game and put a hat on for 9 innings. Yeah, for sure. I would say, I mean, you still got to make it look relatively good. I think too, once it gets to a certain length and you don't do something to it, it just gets crazy and then you can't pitch because it's all in your mouth and your hair and stuff, but like your eyes. But I really honestly do like a pretty minimal. I just like whatever stock shampoo conditioner they got, I'll use that. And then I have to find some like lotiony, oily stuff and I just throw it in my hair because my head, it gets like really, really poofy. So I basically just like whatever is available to wash it. And then I put like any sort of like
oil product in it to try and like keep it down. But there's really not too much that goes into it.
Can you go ponytail?
Yeah, it's long enough right now.
So can you pitch with a ponytail?
I thought I can, but I choose not to.
Yeah. I can, but I choose not to.
I want to avoid that. Yeah, not for me. Oh, maybe 1 year, but yeah, I let it kind of ride. I've actually been like looking to get a little hair trim, but the whole COVID thing, I don't want to break any protocol. So I think we got a barber coming in soon.
Okay. All right. 3 guests that you would like on this show. And gosh, I hope some of them are attainable. I dig this part of the program.
Yeah, they're not going to be. One of them will be. So the player that I choose, Brent Honeywell, no doubt, all the time. I told him I was going to say this on this podcast. He's like, man, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do the media stuff, blah, blah, blah. But like deep down, he's the funniest human being I've ever met. Very articulate, but he's a riot. He's hilarious, but he's always like, no, it's not me. I don't do that stuff. But I'm going to get him because he's hilarious. You'll see he's going to be in the big leagues this year. He looks really good. And at some point he's going to have to do like on field something and people are just going to like fall. He's the funniest dude I've ever met. So he'd be my player.
What makes him so funny?
It's like the man's from Georgia and like every person from Georgia just has like amazing one-liners. He's like off the cusp. That's how I know he's smart. Like his off the cusp answers are otherworldly. Like you say something to him. If you're talking shit to Brent Honeywell, you don't, because he'll say something back that's just like genius. And everyone, he just gets the whole room to laugh. Like, that way he communicates it's brilliant. Like he just has really good one-liners.
Okay, that's good. I would imagine that's pretty attainable, especially since he's going to be a rookie this year. If you're going to be like, hey, you're coming on the Chris Rose rotation.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
He's just like, no, I'm not. I ain't doing that. I'm doing that. I'm like, you're going to have to. You're going to have to man up and do it eventually. So like, you better start doing it now.
All right, number 2.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh, gosh.
For sure. I don't think he'd ever come on, maybe, but like that guy, 1,000%. That he'd be at like if you had to choose like 5 people to have dinner with, that guy was on there for sure.
Well, wait, why wouldn't he come on? Baseball, dude.
I don't know. Maybe he would. Baseball? Does he like baseball?
Come on.
He might come on. I think I'm separating those two from like my third answer was going to be like a Joe Rogan, and I know he does not like baseball. That would be a cool guy, but I don't know. Maybe Malcolm Gladwell would, but like Joe Rogan seems like he'd be a guy that's like, he stays away from baseball for some reason. I just think it's not something that he understands fully or like has any interest in. So he's like, why would I have someone on like a podcast that I have like know nothing about? So, but those would be my 3 answers for sure. What
do you like about Rogan? Are you a UFC guy? Is that how you got to know him?
No, I just like his I like his, like the style in which he speaks to people. Like I like he's open-minded and he does not bias. I like people who are very like, aren't opinionated. I like opinionated people who have strong opinions, but like I want you to be able to see both sides of an argument. And like
totally
that guy is very good at both sides. And I think like that's something I always try to keep I never want to be too opinionated on something. Like if someone has like a passion for it, I'll never be like, oh, that's stupid. Like I want to understand both sides of it. And like I've been raised that way. Like my family's like that. And so everyone I know that's like good at conversation, people I like to spend time with are like that, like open-minded and not like afraid of new things.
I think that's why we've had such a difficult time over the last year as a country. I really do. I think
100,000%, 1,000,000%.
Right? Because we like to hear ourselves talk, but we don't like to listen.
Yeah.
And I think that's so hard, Yeah. I think it's so hard to see both sides. To me, it shows a vulnerability to realize the way that you're thinking might not always be the best way to think.
Yeah, 100%. I think too, it was like as before, like I feel like, I don't know, I'm 27, but like you could have an opinion or a political opinion and like different from somebody else, but you could still be friends with that person, which is, I think now like the argument is really about like, it's like you can only hang out with people that like are politically aligned with you, and which I understand both sides of it. Like I do understand like a lot of this stuff is very meaningful to where like it seeps into your personal life, especially the stuff we're going through now. But like, I've always been around, like my dad's a Republican and my mom is not, like very the other way. Like they're very on the other side of the spectrum, but like they love the shit out of each other. So like I was raised knowing like, all right, you can have different political views, but still be on the same page. And like, even I guess I have friends who have different political views as me, but like we're still very good friends. And I think that's what people have gotten away from. It's like separating the art from the artist and like not letting the artist do whatever he wants, but it's just like, you could still like a good idea is a good idea no matter who it comes from.
Well, we'll try to. We'll see if maybe Malcolm Gladwell is a huge listener of the Chris Rose rotation.
Yeah,
maybe Joe Rogan's like, this is the thing that's going to finally get me into baseball.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
You're not buying it, but we're going to try. We're going to try.
That would, yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. That'd be freaking awesome. Or and then Matthew McConaughey too. If someone doesn't want to come on, that's a good guy. That's my fourth one.
McConaughey.
I just got done reading this book, and I'm like, yeah, I like this guy. I've always liked him, but I like him even more now.
What'd you find out that was most interesting about him that maybe you didn't know?
Just I just kind of like the way he thinks, I guess, and like his like psyche while going through all the stuff. It's just a cool. He like does it. He like kept a journal forever and stuff. I think it's cool. He like was consistent in what he did. So I don't know. I just think he's like articulate and like another person who doesn't like. He just kind of sees both sides of it, and he just kind of has like a guy you want to hang out with. He just seems like he's like wise. He seems like he's figured some stuff out and pretty successful too, obviously. So I think that's what's appealing.
He's done all right.
Yeah.
Ready to play the game show that's sweeping the nation, spinning the wheel of moderately interesting things. So it looks like I've got 10 categories. I've only got 5, but each one's on here twice.
There you go.
Let's see how you do. It's fun. It's brainless, but it's fun.
Yeah.
People like it. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Let it roll.
Let's play 2. Now I just have to warn you. These are questions from Jimmy and Jake, the creators of John Boy Media.
Nice.
And the last time we had one from Stephen Brawley, he goes, that is the dumbest question ever. So if they ask us a question and it sucks again, feel free to say it. And then we're going to have to rethink that category. So here we go.
Who is a fictional character that you are attracted to?
Ooh. That's a good question. Now it's called Let's Play 2 because we both have to answer it. I failed to announce that.
Some sort of like Disney princess, no? Like what? Or like
totally.
Who is the? Wait! I think I got an answer. What was that show?
But
when I was little, I thought Eliza Thornberry's sister. She was pretty cute. She had like the hair with like the one. I was young, but I'd say a Disney princess of any type, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. I never dated a redhead, although my wife went red-ish one time, and I was like, hey now.
Hey, what's up?
So it was Daphne from Scooby-Doo, I thought was
okay, sure,
all right. And then
Little Mermaid.
I don't know if this is weird or not, but it was the Little Mermaid. I hope she was of age.
I was going to say the exact same thing, but I was like, she might be kind of young, so I don't know what to say.
Right,
but I think the Little Mermaid's, right?
This is really disturbing, but can anybody out there confirm how old the Little Mermaid is before we answer the Little Mermaid? Right. Well, but I mean, it's not like they ever showed her ID.
Yeah, I mean, I was also really, like 8 years old, so who cares? That's like Little Mermaid for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that Daphne was definitely old enough to hang.
Yeah.
The Little Mermaid, and I'm putting a total disclaimer on that. I don't know how old the Little Mermaid was. So
I don't think she
was adult.
Yeah. Yeah, she's totally. But that's my answer too. That would be my answer. That's a good answer. You and me, we share.
She's got to be 20.
Something, right? I don't even remember the premise of the movie, but like she's on her own, didn't she? Like didn't she like live alone?
Oh, there we go. Ariel, we're looking it up. 16?
Fuck.
Oh, God. We're out. Stricken from the record.
No.
Stricken from the record, Your Honor.
Oh, shit.
Please. Right. Nobody knew it. Nobody knew it.
Yeah.
Okay? Ariel's a fine young woman.
Yeah.
And that's the answer. So, Daphne.
There you go.
You're the answer. God. That's not fair. That we didn't know the answer. That's
true.
Not
we should
fair.
have done our homework. Yeah. We didn't know we were going to spin that though. We couldn't figure out what we were going to talk about before that. So whatever.
No, that's the beauty of the show is you don't. God, I feel disgusting now. I have to take a breath right now. Yeah. Before we leave, and I hope everybody's enjoyed themselves. It's been great chopping it up with Tyler Glasnow. We give out a homework assignment. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, my wife is a former elementary school teacher. And so we give you a homework assignment each time. And so it's Mrs. Rose's homework assignment for you.
Sweet.
You are 6'8".
6'7".
So 6'7", still you're very tall.
Yeah.
We want you to ask the shortest person on the Rays the best part about being short.
Okay. I got to. Who's the shortest guy on the team? It would be.
That's the thing.
I'll homework. I'll do it. I'll look it up.
Right. It's homework. Yeah. So do a little,
right.
Even if you have to measure some guys, go back. Hey guys, I need you to go back to back, and I need you to video this stuff so that we have access to it, and we can make that happen. Right? It's pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I hope someone doesn't get offended if they're short. But I mean, you're a professional baseball player. It's probably good. Better at infield. There's so many positives that can come from it. I'm sure I'll get a good answer.
Right. I mean, one of my best friends, Bailey Rice, is like 5'6". We were roommates for a year at Michigan, and we went to high school together and everything. And he walks around like he is your height. That's how he walks around life. And
confidence is everything, right? Yeah,
totally. He's captain of our wrestling team. Really good soccer player. All that sort of stuff. What's the? Is there anything that's bad about being 6'7"?
When you're growing up, you're very goofy and you're a goober for sure. But I embraced it. I'm still a weird goobery person. But like growing pains, that was pretty terrible. Like plantar fasciitis and all the B stuff. That was pretty rough. And still like I have to shop on bigshoes.com. Little free ad. There you go. Bigshoes.com or oddball.com. I wear a size 16 shoe. I can't find shoes anywhere. And like I have like 4 places I can buy jeans from. I have like a 37-inch inseam. So like I have to get like custom stuff, or I just get it online wherever. So I'm like a big online, like my Google search is like 34, 36 long pants. And I have to just like go through like 10 Google pages to try and figure out. Yeah. So I'm not a clothes guy. Like I don't spend any money on like fashion. Cause I'm like, well, why would I? Like I have so many, like a limited selection to choose from. So
somebody, I threw out a question. I wanted people to ask you questions. Somebody threw out a good one. Do you ever bang your head on stuff a lot, like doorways?
I actually, growing up, I did a little bit. So like a doorway is like 6'8". So like if you hit it just right, like if you toe plant and go up, you can hit it just right. But like I have enough like spatial awareness now to avoid the doors. But I have hit my head before. I have definitely done that.
That's awesome. Hey, listen, dude, did you have fun today? I had a blast hanging out.
I did. That was very fun. That was cool.
Okay, good. So let's do it.
Who's
again
on next?
In 3
Who
weeks.
do you got next?
Miguel Rojas, I believe, of the Miami Marlins. Yeah, such a good dude.
Yeah, I've only, I think he's the player rep too. So I've heard him like talk on just like meetings. I don't know him personally, but he seems like a phenomenal person.
Yeah, he's a really, really good guy, and he's the lone position player in our rotation. So he's a little bit of an outcast, but I'm going to make him feel he's part of the family. So I'm going to wrap my arms around him and make him feel good.
There you go. I wonder if there's like data on. There has to be. It's easy to get, but like the people who do stuff outside of baseball have to be mostly pitchers. I feel like the schedule of a position player is so like it's like the mental stress you have to think about like every day playing and like what I have to do. Like you have to like limit your obligations throughout the day. It's like always pitchers, isn't it?
That's one thing we're going to talk to him about. Why he's on board, why he wants to do it. He loves it. He's nice. He's essentially the de facto captain of that team. So and he's a good man. So too are you, Tyler Glasnow. Quick reminder, everybody, please subscribe wherever you download your podcast. Also check out the John Boy Media brand new baseball channel. Subscribe to that as well. You stay healthy, do your homework, and stay away from Ariel.
I will. Those are all good things. I'll do all those things.
We will see everybody the next time on the Chris Rose Rotation here on John Boy Media.